Hi everybody, Hal Weeks for Stalking the Wild Autoharp. The scale, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, it's everything that melody is based on. But where does it come from? What does it look like? What can we see to know how it works? Because on the Autoharp, there's just 3 buttons. You can't really see where the scale comes from. All the buttons look the same. So I've made a little video to show you the 3 chords that the scale comes from and why. So here we go. So this is my little whiteboard, and I don't always or even often try to explain things to y'all using music notation, staffs, and everything. And first of all, let me explain that I'm shooting this upside down. I'm planning on turning it around in my edit so it'll be right side up, and I hope that it doesn't look funny. You'll excuse me if it does, but I'm just trying to make this work without lots of high-tech computer graphics involved, and I think I can make it work this way. This is, of course, the staff, and I'm not going to teach you how to read music here if you don't already know, but I want to explain to you where your scale is coming from on the Autoharp. And we're going to talk about a C scale right now. And this is a C chord, C, E, and G. I've got that written in here. Hopefully you can read that and you can see that. I'll try to enlarge it in my edit. And this C chord only contains 3 of the 7 notes in the C scale. The scale is the notes that you want to play. Let me go back. This is the C chord. This is 3 notes stacked on top of each other like beads on a string or like pancakes on a plate. And there's 3 notes, 1, 2, 3, but the scale, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, it's actually 7 notes, one of them repeated, the first one and the last one. Let me show you what that one looks like. C, which is do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Now, I'm probably not even singing in the key of C. It's doubtful that I am. But do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. 8 notes. This is a C, and this is a C. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And notice C is here, E is here, and G is there. Make sense so far? So the C chord has only 3 notes in it. You can't play all of the scale from those notes, but the melody is built on this ladder of notes that go through time. La, 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 la. And in this case, time moves from left to right. These, when you sound them this way, they all sound at the same time. Bum, like a chord. 3 notes, harmony. When we strike a note on the a chord on the Autoharp, you can play more than 3 reiterations of the same 3 notes. You can have C, E, G, C, E, G, C. You can even go down into the lower notes too. But they're all stacked up at once depending on how far you strum across the instrument. But you're still skipping notes that lie in these little spaces. That note is missed, that note is missed, this note is missed, this note, this note. These ones that don't get pointed to over here because they're not in this chord. To get these other notes, you have to use a different chord, and most of them are in the G7 chord. Okay? Because this note right here, this note right here, this note right here are in the G7 chord, and this note right here is in both the C chord and the G chord. I'll put it in there, G. Let me put it on my keyboard down here. The C chord is these three, C, E, G. Those three make up the C chord. The G chord is this one. This G7 is this one, this one, this one, and this one. These four notes are in the G7 chord. So between those two chords, we have C, D, E, F, G. Don't have the A. We have the B, and of course we have the C again in the C chord. I guess I should do this. So all these bottom notes are in the C chord. All these top notes are in the G7 chord. It goes on up like this. D, E, like that. So what do we do about the A? Well, we have to either pull that, we have to pull that from the F chord, which is the third chord. The F chord, if I go back up here, the F chord has these notes in it. That's the F chord, and this is the missing A note that we pull from the F chord. Now, if you don't want to use the G7 chord, if you just want to use the G chord, you take the 7th off, you take this F note out, which is the 7th, and then you have to get those three notes from the F chord, F, A, C. These three notes are the F chord. Notice that the C is also in the C chord. Notice that the G that's in the G chord is also in the C chord. So the C chord has these notes this note in common with the G chord, and this note in common with the F chord. There's overlap. So this is where your scale comes from, and why you use 3 buttons to play it. This scale, la 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 la, is the scale that probably 90% or more of our songs are made on. And so learning to to play that scale and melodies based on that scale using your 3 home row buttons. Is very important. I hope this makes it clear where these notes are coming from, and I hope you've been able to see it all. This C chord, which I showed you over here and tracked to the scale, is the C chord is Roman numeral 1. G is 5, or 5/7 if it's a 7th. Remember, that adds back in the F note. And F is 4. And in music theory class, they taught us to use Roman numerals here. Nashville numbering system uses Arabic numbers. 1, 5, 7, and 4. That's getting hard to read. Sorry about my scribbling. Well, I hope this was valuable. I hope it shows you something. This is where your scale comes from. I'm Hal Weeks. Thanks for watching Stalking the Wild Autoharp.